enough already. So I asked two politicians, one Labor, one Liberal, Liberal Party MP Tim Wilson, Labor Senator Jenny McAllister, to come with me outside of Parliament House to get out of this place. We went down to the iconic Kingston Hotel in the nearby suburb of Manuka for what I was hoping to be a nice fluid conversation over the budget, the politics of this week, over a couple of beers. Didn't quite turn out that way. It was a nice chat anyway. Let's have a look. Tim Wilson, Liberal MP for the Victorian seat of Goldstein, Jenny McAllister, Labor Senator. Welcome and welcome to Budget Week.
Thanks, Michael.
Are you brimming with excitement? Tim, this is your first one. You must be leaping out of your seat.
Leaping out of my seat, yes, but it's a fascinating experience to go through. We've just come back from a 5-week recess. We've spent great time in the community, but now you're getting back into the business of government and interested to see what the Treasurer has in store for us tomorrow night.
We can't wait. Now, Jenny, I think this is your third budget, so you're something of a veteran. Are you jaded by the whole budget process by now?
No, I'm not jaded. I mean, I think it's actually the most interesting time in politics because how you spend, how you save is a real measure of your priorities. And so this is the time, I think, when the different political priorities of the parties are laid bare, and in some ways that's the most important part of politics.
But it shows the choice as much as anything else.
Yeah, budgets are about choices.
Of course, and governments, of course, delivering budgets have much greater choice. So the focus is on Scott Morrison on budget night. It's a very, very important moment for any Treasurer, isn't it, Tim?
Oh, resolutely, yes. It's a time when the Treasury gets the platform of the nation. At 7:30, thousands, millions of Australians tune into, of course, the ABC and watch the Treasurer's speech. But it's also when they get to define their priorities and agendas. It's a reset of the political year in many ways. It gives senators a task to go off and squirrel away through things through the estimates process, but also to set the agenda for the government and what it's going to implement in really the budget that is going to define the government, which is the one in the middle of the political calendar between elections.
Yeah, it's really, Jenny, like other than election years, it is the big week in federal politics. It's the grand final week for federal politicians, with all the excitement involved in that.
Yes, it is.
Two sides going at each other, trying to score political goals. So, and the opposing captain in the form of Bill Shorten gives his big speech on Thursday. So lots of focus on him this week too.
That's right, and I think in the time I've been there, each budget reply speech that's been given by the opposition leader has been a real time when we've sought to lay out something of our vision and our agenda for the country, because as we were saying earlier, it really is about choices. And so, you know, we have a very particular view, I think, that it's possible to run a budget that is sound and fiscally sustainable, but also fair. And that's always the focus and the way that we approach these questions.
Tim?
Well, unsurprisingly, we focus on making sure that we get the budget back to surplus. We are prudent and responsible so that we're not spending too much money on interest repayments, and we're able to use that to actually deliver a fair and just society, which is making sure we have the social dividend as well as prudence. Now, Jenny will come up with arguments about why we can't do that and they can do that, but in the end, it's about running the country and setting a course and a clear objective for the future of the country.
Now, the Senate is going to be very interesting. You're a member of the Senate, Jenny, because the government needs the support of the crossbench if Labor opposes some measures. So what's it like working and living cheek by jowl with the likes of Pauline Hanson, Darren Hinch, David Leyonhjelm? It must be a very interesting character-forming experience.
Look, everyone takes different approaches to this, and I don't imagine it's actually that much different in the House of Representatives, but my general approach is that there's a real difference between structural conflict and personal conflict. So I've got a different view to Tim, I've got a different view to a whole lot of the characters in the Senate, but it doesn't mean that, you know, outside of the chamber, you can't have a pretty good relationship with them at a human level, and that's generally how I pursue it.
It's not even share a mineral water from time to time.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Yeah, and it's not how everyone, you know, I think people have different levels of comfort, but for me it's generally about having a respectful relationship, appreciating that pretty much everyone brings sincerity to politics, but there are real questions where we disagree, and you want to be in a position to have a pretty robust disagreement with them.
And finally, the most important question I'll ask both of you, but first Tim Wilson, how do government MPs let off steam on budget night? Where's the party?
With a cigar, with a cigar, famously.
Yes, I don't think there'll be any cigars at all.
There are a few dinners that go on. People have a few celebratory drinks to say, to let off the steam and share the excitement.
Dancing on tables?
No, not from me. I'm far more responsible. But
I tell you what, at budget estimates, we've had a few conversations about dancing on coffee tables.
I'm sure you have. But I have been to a few post-Treasurer's speech budget shenanigans in the past, which mostly involves a couple of celebratory drinks and otherwise a very good night's sleep, because the next day we've got to get on and implement it, Michael.
You've got to go out and sell it like any government, and
That's right.
any Labor Party or any opposition needs to argue its point of view. So what's in store for the Labor MPs and senators this week?
Yeah, well, look, the thing that I'd say is that this government, I brought along a few quotes. You know, this government's had a pretty good,
Here are some
run.
that I prepared
Here's
earlier.
something I prepared earlier, but the government's had a pretty good run. The last three budgets, you know, the headlines have been, you know, hockey steadies ship, set sail for growth, hockey lays out path to fiscal fix. It's always actually received pretty well, the budget on day one, but it's the job of opposition to get into the detail, understand really where the bodies are buried in the budget that's been presented, and to hold the government to account.
Look, it's always welcome to have people who want
Where
to
are
go
your
along and be inquisitive and seek to undermine it, and that's what the opposition does. In the end, we've got to go out and sell the objectives of the budget, the narrative and the focus, and what's actually going to be better for people as a consequence. And it's both what's good for people today, but also making sure that we secure Australia's future for the 21st century.
Thank you both, and can I tell the good electors of Goldstein in Melbourne and the Senate voters in New South Wales, both of these elected representatives are being very responsible ahead of budget week, a very big week, way too responsible. Jenny McAllister, Tim Wilson, to your budgetary health.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Cheers. Virginia, for two reasons. One, I fully accept that they were being very responsible. It was about 3 o'clock after all on a Monday afternoon. But gee, what has happened to the political class in Australia if you can't down at least one cheeky pot or midi ahead of a very busy week?
Michael, when you started the conversation, I just simply assumed they were great tumblers of vodka.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, it's like that, and then to learn that it was water. So disappointing, Paul, don't you think?
Yeah, it probably says more about you though, mate. I think they've heard about your reputation. You know, sometimes you catch up with someone and you think, oh no, is he in one of those moods? We better...
I had all the lines sorted out. I was going to buy Tim Wilson a Cooper's and have a lot of fun about that. But
I guess
Maybe
that's why
he's
he didn't have it.